Hello, Thunder Wizards. So today I want to talk to you about what you can do to get yourself out of a self-destructive fear virus loop. If you're not familiar with that term, it's a term I coined in the 5 rules to master the matrix. And I strongly recommend that you combine these teachings of manifestation and law of attraction with that teaching of the 5 rules to master the matrix. Because these 2 teachings, really 3 teachings, but manifestation and attraction go together with the 5 rules to master the matrix. In that, I talked about that the universe responds when you take fearless action towards what you want. That instead of waiting for the universe to give you its permission, you already assume that if it's something that you truly want, then you have implicit permission to go after it, regardless of how difficult or out of reach it might be. And in that same teaching, I talk about how the matrix is a life force energy, like a video game type of scenario, holographic projector. And it responds to certain rules. And one of the rules is if you act out of fear, which means like trying to steal from somebody or from the belief that you're not worthy or you don't deserve it, and you act out of that in ways that are destructive, the universe has been programmed to not respond positively to that. Your experience when you are trapped in a fear virus loop is that you think that you are doing what you need to do to survive, that you're taking care of yourself. But you're operating from an assumption of fear, an assumption that you're not worthy. And as a result of that, the matrix, the universe, is designed to reward you when you operate from fearlessness and self-love. And it is programmed to respond negatively when you're operating out of fear or the assumption that you aren't worthy to be given whatever it is that you want and need. And so where lots of times we grow up being trained by our parents and our school and religion and whatever else to feel that we are not worthy and that everything, we have to wait until God gives his permission to do anything. And so when we're living in that state and nothing is going our way and we feel unloved and unsupported, then in order to survive, we start looking for ways. And then we start doing things that make us feel shame. When you start either going after things you think you don't deserve, and you consciously are saying, I know I'm not supposed to have this, but I'm going to go do it anyway. And then you do things like steal, or you become codependent or needy, or use people, or these kinds of things. This tends to flip a switch in the universe where the universe says, hey, this person is not following their soul, and I'm not going to support that. You experience that as bad luck, as the world is cruel, people are mean. But really what's happening is that the universe is trying to reflect back to you that you're acting out in self-destructive ways, self-sabotaging ways. And so again, everything is your own projection. So when that feeling that you have of I'm not worthy and I'm not supposed to have this, and it's sinful of me to want to be loved and have money and be successful and do what I want to do. I want to be a ballerina, but my parents want me to be a physicist or something. then you start to do things to get other people's approval. You get angry with yourself because you're not doing what it is you truly want. Then you get into this cycle of shame and self-judgment. Oh, I shouldn't want to do that. That's silly. I should make people happy. And then you get into this cycle of, battling with yourself. And then, in order to get your needs met, you have to break out of that, and you have to, be bad and do things that are bad. And in some cases they are, stealing from other people, or, using other people, or things like that. So then you've got all of this conflict and this self-hatred and this shame and this guilt. And then you fight with that. And then this is when people get angry. Like, for instance, alcoholics. When alcoholics get, when people, I forget what that's called, an intervention, when they have an intervention and people come and, the family and friends sit around and say, I see that you're drinking a lot and it really hurts me. And they get angry. And what they say is, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm just doing what I want to do. And that's really not true. Their act of self-destruction is hurtful and harmful to everybody around them. But that is the justification. So you know that you're in a fear virus loop when you tend to justify things that bring you shame and guilt like that. So the tough part is to decide, is this really you're just fighting with what your soul wants, or are you in a fear virus loop and you're acting out of fear and guilt and shame in ways that are taking you out of alignment with yourself? So let's talk about being in alignment with yourself for a moment. So being in alignment with yourself is, I've used the word integrity, but I don't use it in the same way that moralists do. When we're talking about morals, we say somebody has integrity, meaning that they don't lie, they don't cheat, they don't steal. You can depend on them. They'll be there for you. If they say they're going to do something, they do it. They follow a moral code. And that is certainly a byproduct of being in integrity, but that's not what I'm focusing on. I'm talking about somebody who is in integrity with their own desires, their own soul desire, their own desires that bring them true joy. As you know, the assumption that I make, or the theory that I'm making, is your first priority is to find that out within yourself, to be conscious of what is your deepest desire that brings you the greatest happiness and joy. When you go after that without any conflict, when you take fearless action, it's really, you can have conflict about it, but what's most important is that you take clear action towards it, and you don't compromise. When you don't compromise on going after what gives you the greatest joy, even if it's completely out of reach, you say, I deserve that. I know I don't have the money to do that now or the resources to do that now, but I deserve that, and I'm going to start taking bold, fearless risks towards achieving that because I believe that I deserve that. That's one of the ways that the matrix then wakes up and starts to respond to you, because the world responds to your actions. Whereas, as we've said before, the law of attraction wants to get you focused on your feelings. And your feelings are only good to the extent that they motivate you to take action. Then the law of attraction works. When your feelings are corresponded directly to actions, then the universe responds to that directly and will respond to your feelings because there's an action associated with that. So you can still be in conflict with yourself on an emotional level, but if you take action that appears as though you have no conflict, the universe responds to that more than just your feelings. So when you're in conflict with yourself, it means that you are acting against your own true happiness. Now, one of the side effects of acting out of integrity of your own happiness is that you will often do things that to the world look immoral. You'll act selfishly, you'll act destructively, you'll do things that end up being harmful to other people, and then people don't trust you. But it really starts from the first thing is you act out of integrity to yourself. And then later, if it starts to build, then it becomes a habit to act out of integrity towards others. That's when somebody can say, oh, that person's character, is, you can't trust that guy. That person is a liar, or that person is a cheat, or that person uses other people. Though that's the end result, but it started with, at some point, they didn't believe that they deserved to have a connection to the universe. They didn't believe that the universe loved them and that they would be rewarded just for being their true self. And, we could take it to an extreme. So one extreme would be serial killers. What you find with serial killers, a lot of them are orphans. And so you have people who, as they're infants and toddlers, they're not, number one, they're not given a lot of physical attention, a lot of physical touching and nurturing and affection. And that has an effect on the brain. The brain, the nervous system and the brain need that. So when a child doesn't get that, it starts to create this underlying unconscious assumption on a physical level. The nervous system says, I'm not loved, I'm not worthy. And then they don't develop empathy. So the parts of the brain, one of the things about serial killers is that if you look at their brains don't function the same, and the centers of the brain that are connected to empathy are non-functioning or are damaged because of that. And so it starts from that's an extreme example, but it starts from that same foundational assumption of I'm not worthy, nobody loves me, the universe is a cruel place. Therefore, I have to go and take what I want. And then they get so wrapped up in that, then it turns into, of course, an obsession and craziness. And, once you're in that, the thing about being out of integrity with yourself is that you never find satisfaction. So no matter how much you drink, or no matter how much money you make, or how many people you sleep with, or how many hours you play video games, you're never satisfied. It's never enough. And being in true alignment with yourself, when you're going after what you truly want, it is fulfilling. It is enough. You keep doing it, but it's like eating, good food, as opposed to somebody who overeats, somebody who eats to stay healthy, you eat and you're satisfied. You don't have to eat a second meal. You don't have to have 2 desserts. You don't have to have a giant big gulp. You don't have to have the huge giant, tub of popcorn. You're happy. Once you reach that satiation, you're happy and you're done. So all of that, again, at some point, even if it's, the extreme example, at some point there's an assumption that is taken in that says that I'm not worthy, that I don't deserve it. And then you start acting out of integrity toward yourself. So I'm making a distinction between that, even though they are related. I'm making a distinction between that and, just somebody who's confused. Because as you know, what I also am teaching here is that, as I said, the first priority that we have is to become conscious of what it is we truly want, that our soul wants. And if we follow that, that will give us everything that we need. That will give us personal satisfaction. It will guide us to our true career, and it will guide us towards our prosperity. And the universe will respond by giving you what you need in order to achieve what you are here to do. And that's different for everybody. And so when you're out of alignment with that, then of course that is never fed. So there's a difference between being confused about what it is that I want, because this is something that happens a lot when I have clients who come to me for career counseling, and they want to know, they want me to help them find out what their true career path is. And I take them through the questions which I teach in the find your perfect career. By the way, if you want that, if you want to figure out if you are in fact confused about what it is that your true career is, then I recommend that you do that. neo.thunderwizard.com. That's one of the 4 um, tools that I recommend for getting the most out of what I'm teaching here in this manifestation series. So I kind of forgot what I was saying. Being confused is one thing. Being confused because you're not sure, what is it? Do I want to please my family or do I want to be a ballerina? That's a confusion right there. But we're talking now about a fear virus loop, which is an extreme version of that, where you're caught in the fear, and the fear creates a virus loop in the matrix, and you can't seem to get out of it. And no matter how hard you try, you seem to dig yourself deeper into it. And so you don't know when you're operating from your desire and when you're operating from your desperation, stealing from others. And, again, codependence, like, if we're talking about codependence, there's all different kinds of codependence, but let's talk about the neediness side, where people need other people and they become saviors. They want to save others. And so they become these people who are constantly saving other people. And so they believe that their greatest joy comes from saving people. And in reality, that's a projection. What's really happening is that they themselves want to be saved, but it's too painful to acknowledge that, so they project it onto the world. And then what they don't realize is how their lack of boundaries is destructive when they become too clingy and too needy and telling people what to do. Religion is a perfect example of that. The idea that somebody has to go around the world and force some religious belief on others in order to save them from hell. That is codependence, to the extreme. And you think, oh, I love them so much, I want to help them. They need to know the truth of the gospel. And, you have no awareness how destructive it is and how, just no respect for anybody's boundaries or their beliefs. So that's an extreme example. So that's what I'm talking about. That when people are in that kind of a fear virus loop, they oftentimes aren't able to tell when they are out of integrity and when they're going after what they want. So that can cause some deep confusion. Anyway, so bottom line is that again, we'll go back to the theory here, which is that in order to truly have your desires met, your first priority is to listen to your soul. What is it that your soul wants to achieve? And we often get confused. In fact, that is my belief, is that one of the reasons we come here is to get more empowered on a soul level. And so this is part of the karmic lesson of all humans, is at some point you will have to face, maybe multiple times, have to face the decision between what your soul wants and what other people want for you, what society wants for you. And you oftentimes get confused. And so you have to really dig deep and get honest and go, no, my desire to be a physicist is to please my parents and to feel like I'm to be a good person. And then being a ballerina doesn't feel like the right thing, and I don't want to look stupid and be silly. And you have to get over the ego of wanting people's approval and being willing to make your soul happy. And so how do we do that? When you're stuck in a fear virus loop especially, it's very, very difficult to see. And that's where people like me come in. This is why, we go to counselors and we go to therapists and we go to shamans and we go to spiritual teachers, because we want help. This is why it's important to have a mentor, especially when you're one of these people that's really out of integrity. You really need a mentor. So there's a technique that I want to share with you on how to do that. So remember, there's an A video and a B video. In this A video, we're talking about the theory, getting it out there. In the B video, I'm going to give you the technique or a technique that you can use, which will allow you to hack into your unconscious and find out what's really going on with, a potential fear virus loop that you're in, and to be able to know what the direct action is to get yourself out of it, or at least a direct action to get yourself out of it. So again, this is for the Manifestation Mastery course. To understand that, you can go to neo.thunderwizard.com, and on there you'll see a link for the Manifestation Mastery course. It will take you to thunderwizard.com. If you go on to that page, on the right side of that page, it's a Patreon page, you'll see a link that goes to the Manifestation Mastery course. Click on that, and then you'll have access to the B videos. The B videos for the Manifestation Mastery course will have specific techniques and hacks to show you how to learn how to kickstart the law of attraction and combine it with the law of manifestation, and to connect you to your true soul desire and be able to manifest that. Because my experience is that once you get connected to that, once you become conscious of what it is you truly want, then you got a green light for everything. You take actions towards that, the universe is going to respond directly to that. You can then start practicing the law of attraction, where you align your thoughts and your feelings towards what you want, because it'll be aligned with what your soul wants, and the universe has to obey your soul. It has to. Your soul is Almighty God as far as the matrix is concerned. And so the universe responds directly to that. And when you know exactly what actions to take, the universe responds directly to those actions. And in other words, you've got this green light to get everything that you want, and there's no confusion. The confusion arises when we're not clear on what we want. So then in the B video, I'm going to share you a technique where you can go in, hack into your unconscious mind, and learn exactly why and how you've become out of alignment and what you can do to fix it. So for that, as I said, go to the Manifestation Mastery course, click on it, and sign up for that, and then you'll have access to those videos. And I strongly recommend, to get the most out of all of my teaching, I recommend that you go up here to neo.thunderwizard.com. There are 4 tools that I think are essential for what I'm teaching in my entire teaching. Those 4 tools are: first, you need to know what your destination is. And that's what we're talking about now. It's your soul desire. You have been programmed. You programmed your soul. Before you incarnated, you programmed your soul to want to do specific things. And the way that you know that you're following, quote, God's will, your destiny, is that those things that give you the deepest joy are the things that you've been programmed to do. The matrix, the universe, is also programmed. It is programmed to obey your soul desire. In the entire universe, the most important thing in the entire universe is you fulfilling your soul desire. The universe is programmed to respond to that. So that's the first thing. You need to know what your destination is, and that's also serving as a map. It'll take you. You'll know how to get there. Now, once you have the destination and the map, you need a vehicle to get you there. The vehicle is life force energy, because you are traveling through life, which is made up of conscious life force energy. And the universe itself is a matrix of interwoven conscious life force energy strands. And so you need a vehicle to travel through it. That vehicle is itself life force energy, power, energy. And so you need that. So the first thing you need is to know the map and the destination. The second thing you need is a vehicle powered with life force energy to get you to your destination. And that is the Qigong that I teach. The high-level Qigong that I teach will, whatever practices you're doing, Law of attraction, ritual, shamanism. If you combine the celestial qigong power to it, in my experience, it will increase it exponentially, your ability to manifest your desires. So that's the second one, the vehicle. It'll get you to your destination much more quickly. The third tool is, since you're taking your vehicle on your map to your destination, you need to know the rules of the road. This is the 5 rules to master the matrix. You know, we can focus in a couple of different areas. If we focus emotionally, what gives us the greatest joy, that will catapult us towards our happiness. But you don't have to sit there and figure it out. If I show you the 5 rules, how the universe responds, you know, things that you can do. There are techniques that you don't have to overthink. You just do them and the universe will respond. It obeys your commands. This is what I call the rules of the road. So you've got your destination, your vehicle. Now you know what the rules of the road are, so you can get there the most effectively, the most quickly. And then the fourth tool is what we're doing now, where we continue to meet and we talk. And, you know, not everybody's going to get this right away. You're going to need to continuously come back, because your unconscious programming doesn't magically go away. It's something that you put time and effort to hack into and to defrag and to reprogram yourself. And that is what happens in this interchange here. And so when you become a subscriber of the Manifestation Mastery course, you get access to all of those videos and more, because then you'll have access to tons and tons of shamanism videos where I teach you shamanism from the ground up, teach you about energy work, manifestation, ritual, mantra, runes, deity worship, all of that. And then you get access to these videos. And then on top of that, you will have access to live question and answers, where I will share with you direct answers to all of your questions about for people that are following what I'm teaching, as opposed to the Q&As that are on the YouTube video, where people show up and they're just totally brand new, or some of the Looney Tunes people that show up and I have to sift through all of their crazy comments and questions. On the Manifestation Mastery course live question and answer videos, which will start at the end of this month, March 2019. You'll be able to ask very specific, knowledgeable, intelligent questions where I can go really in depth. And it'll be as though you've got a private session with me. So that's coming up later. So that's it. Make your way over to the B videos on the Manifestation Mastery course. And if you haven't already done that, go to neo.thunderwizard.com and get yourself set up with the 4 tools. So that's it for now. Now I'm going to share with you the technique, how you can go in and find out how to get out of that fear virus loop. It's a shamanic exercise, and I think you'll find it very powerful. So I'll see you over in the B video.